and welcome on behalf of Vijai Mantri Financial Services. Thank you for joining us today. Vijai Mantri Financial Services is a boutique firm focused on helping individuals, families achieve their financial goals through research-driven investment solutions and personalized wealth advisory. It is now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Sagar Gandhi, fund manager at Invesco. He brings over 17 years of experience in the Indian equity markets and is currently a fund manager at Invesco Mutual Fund. Prior to this, he has worked with Future Generali India Life Insurance and ICICI Securities, where he has built extensive experience in equity research across sectors such as capital goods, industrials, defense, and mid-cap companies. We are really delighted to have him with us today. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sagar Gandhi. Over to you, sir.
So thank you very much, Sanika, for the introduction. Thank you very much to all the viewers who has agreed to join us on this very interesting webinar. And as all of you who follow us regularly knows that every month we come out with something very, very interesting, something different, and something insightful, and more importantly, something which the investor can take away and start executing. It is just not a theoretical input given. It is more from a perspective that how this particular idea fits into overall financial well-being of end user. And I'm very happy that we have one of the brightest fund manager in my opinion. I'll tell you why he's one of the brightest fund manager. And also we are delighted to have Invesco Asset Management Company allowing him to come and talk to us. Invesco Asset Management Company has a remarkable journey. It is a one company which till date didn't have any Indian promoter. It is a multinational company, and very few multinational asset management company in India has survived and grown. So it is a remarkable achievement from that perspective, and full credit goes to the senior management team and also Invesco headquarter team of trusting the Indian team to work independently. Why I believe Sagar is a very unique in a way that the kind of sector he's tracking. So when you look at infrastructure sector, it is a very difficult sector to track because unlike FMCG or some other sector, banking, where the metrics are very well known, you can do bottom-up stock picking, look at the company's performance over a 3, 5, 10 years and figure out whether the companies have high ROE, high ROC, all kind of metrics you can use, a template which can be used. But when you look at infrastructure, it becomes that much difficult because not only you need to look at bottom-up stock picking, but equally important is you also need to look at macro, where the big money is moving in the economy, where the central government is putting its money, where the various corporates are putting their money, where the multinational companies are putting their money in India, and then figure out if the money is going, figure out the entire value chain and figure out who will benefit out of this money flowing in. And the money can stop suddenly, and money can come also start coming suddenly. So it is very important to track what is happening at the macro level. Second important thing to keep in mind is that infra is no longer just bridges, tolls, or airports or ports. Infra has become much more bigger because infra is basically the basic on which our life moves. So for instance, the digital infra has become equally important for us. We get so many things through mobile, through telecommunication. So tower, we sit at home and we look at gas coming, so gas pipelines. There are so many things. Suppose we see so much excitement happening in GCC. GCC given direct competition to Indian IT company, but also benefited lots of company because GCC, the entire value chain required different kind of companies to look at. So if you see from that perspective, then it is a very fascinating sector. And also keep in mind the kind of money this fund has made. We'll talk about this a little later. But what I found very fascinating is that when we used to think about infrastructure, we used to think the bridge manufacturing companies or L&Ts and those kind of the world. But if you look at the portfolio, it is very different. So with this background, I would like to invite Sagar. Sagar, over to you. Please explain what you do, how you do, and why you've been so successful as well. Unmute yourself, Sagar.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for a very, very generous introduction. And, sir, very well covered about the sector. the nuances of the sector, the themes this sector used to cover some 5, 10 years ago and the way it is doing now. So I think the presentation that I am going to give you today is a very, very comprehensive presentation which covers the old core infrastructure sectors plus the new emerging infrastructure sectors. So these are some themes which without India building, India cannot move ahead. Just to give you very quick examples, semiconductor is one theme, data center is another theme, green hydrogen may be third theme, and there are many such areas where new infra capability India must develop, and consequently, as you rightly highlighted, there are a lot of Indian companies which will be beneficiaries of these upcoming themes. And I, as a fund manager, it is my job to position myself into such emerging areas where new growth opportunities will come. And and that is exactly reflected in my portfolio also. So we will try and cover all of these. So I think in the chat box, somebody has requested that I should use Hindi also. So then what I will try and do is आधा हिंदी आधा English so that it is in general beneficial for all the audience at large. तो जहाँ पे भी you feel that I am being slightly more complicated or complex, you can just try and highlight in the chat box and I will immediately change my trajectory. So first तो पहले है कि infrastructure over the last 1 decade or maybe 1.5 decade has not been a very very good sector and people have not liked this sector also. या सो आई जस्ट वांटेड टू फर्स्ट इनिशियली ट्राई एंड हाईलाइट कि ये सेक्टर में पिछले 10 साल में 11 साल में कुछ हुआ है नहीं हुआ है कि सिर्फ बातें हैं. सो दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट यू कैन सी ऑन माय स्क्रीन. व्हाट आई हैव ट्राइड टू डू इज मैंने जो कोर और कुछ कुछ नया इमर्जिंग इंफ्रा सेक्टर्स है उसका एक पूरा स्नैपशॉट दिया है जिसमें मैंने रेलवेज रोड्स. सो दिस विल बी अ डेटा हैवी प्रेजेंटेशन एंड why I want to make this a data heavy presentation is unless I translate my thoughts into numbers and you absorb that numbers, you will not be convinced about anything. And I have to actually help people absorb what is happening on the ground. So as you can see on my screen, मैंने roads, railways, ports, airports, metro, renewable power, power transmission, oil and gas and telecom sector पे data डाला है. What I have tried to do is this is all data is from government sources, as you can see on the left hand side of the screen, left hand side bottom part of the screen जहाँ पे मैंने सबका sources भी डाला है. Now just to just to help you absorb this data, before for example मैं रो नंबर 4 लेता हूँ which is the airport section. तो
तो
एयरपोर्ट
हाईलाइट
सेक्शन में हमारे
स्वागत जी,
पास
आप हाईलाइटर इस्तेमाल कर लो ना, आप जस्ट चूज
ये
हाईलाइटर.
श्योर आई डू दैट सर. ये मेरा कर्सर दिख रहा है माउस का कि
हाँ वो, लेकिन हाईलाइटर कर लो ना, जो पॉइंटर होता है ना अपने
ओके
पीपीटी में आता है.
जस्ट वन सेकंड पॉइंटर.
इफ यू लेफ्ट क्लिक ना आपके इस पे, माउस पे, तो
ये
ऑप्शंस आते हैं.
ये दिख रहा है.
हाँ ये ले लो, या वो लाइटर वाला भी, उसमें लाइट भी आती है, वो ले लो. हाँ
अब दिख रहा है.
हाँ हाँ, दिस फाइन. हाँ आई थिंक या दिस गुड.
ओके ठीक है. सो जस्ट वन सेकंड आई विल रीडू दिस. ठीक है. सो आई थिंक दिस इज नाउ विजिबल टू ऑल ऑफ यू एंड आई कैन डू दिस. सो आई एम डिस्कसिंग एयरपोर्ट्स नाउ. सो पहले आज से 10 साल पहले 11 साल पहले इंडिया के पास कितना एयरपोर्ट्स था. तो एज यू कैन सी ऑन माई स्क्रीन 74 एयरपोर्ट्स था. टुडे इन FY 26 एज वी स्पीक दिस इज द एक्चुअल नंबर वी आर एट 165 एयरपोर्ट्स. सो एज यू कैन सी वी हैव मोर देन डबल्ड इन लास्ट 1 decade. जो डोमेस्टिक ट्रैफिक था पैसेंजर्स हुआ ट्रैवलिंग थ्रू एयरलाइंस वो कितना था. तो 60 million था, अप्रोक्सीमेटली 6 करोड़. हाउ मच इज दैट टुडे. वी आर ऑलरेडी 3x. 6 6 3 18, 3 गुना हो गया है पीपल ट्रैवलिंग थ्रू एयरलाइंस. इंटरनेशनल ट्रैफिक हैज ऑल्सो गॉन 5x ओवर द लास्ट 10 years. नंबर ऑफ मेट्रोज पे आ जाओ. नंबर ऑफ मेट्रोज 10 साल पहले कितना था. खाली 5 सिटी में था. आज 29 cities ऑफ इंडिया हैव मेट्रोज. नेटवर्क के फॉर्म में अगर किलोमीटर के फॉर्म में बात करें तो 230 किलोमीटर का नेटवर्क था मेट्रो का. आज है 1143. एंड एज आई मूव हेड इन माई प्रेजेंटेशन आई विल ट्राई एंड एक्सप्लेन यू कि 10 साल में मेट्रो का नेटवर्क 5 गुना हुआ है और नेक्स्ट 5 साल में यहाँ से 3 गुना होने वाला है. सो this is the amount of infra that is being built in the country. Now let us go to the next section which is the renewable section. तो हम लोग पावर का जनरेशन का बात करते हैं. There was a point in time 5 10 years ago where generating power in India was a challenge. We used to build thermal power plants, मतलब जो कोयले से पावर प्लांट बिजली जनरेट होता है. वो बिजली जनरेट करने के लिए एक पावर प्लांट लगने के लिए कभी कभी 5 साल 7 साल कभी कभी 9 साल लग जाता था. आज हमको समझ में आ गया कि एक काम करो रिन्यूएबल पावर जनरेट करो सोलर पावर पार्क्स लगाओ and your life can be reasonably fast. So how fast we have grown in last 10 years. So 35 गीगावाट कैपेसिटी था आज से 10 साल पहले, आज 235 गीगावाट कैपेसिटी है. So this is a huge change and very fast growth. There is, I mean, something like 7x, 8x growth in last 10 years. Something, the share of power generation has also gone up from 6% to 22%. So all these topics I will discuss in slightly more detail as we progress in our presentation. But this is just a glimpse of what has happened over the last 10 years. Those stock prices may have huge interest, बट ग्राउंड पे काम हुआ है क्या? तो नंबर्स दिखा रहे हैं ग्राउंड पे काम हुआ है. पावर ट्रांसमिशन लाइन का जो लेंथ था वो लगभग 3 लाख किलोमीटर के आजू बाजू का था, आज 5 लाख किलोमीटर है. फिर एज यू ऑल आर अवेयर कि जब मुझे पावर ट्रांसमिट करना हो तो मुझे एक सब स्टेशन का रिक्वायरमेंट रहता है, वेर इन वोल्टेज ऑफ द पावर इज आइदर इंक्रीज्ड और डिक्रीज्ड, सो दैट पावर कैन बी ट्रांसमिटेड एट शॉर्ट मीडियम एंड लॉन्ग डिस्टेंसेस. तो पावर ट्रांसमिशन कैपेसिटी जो 5 लाख MVA, 5.3 लाख MVA था, has become 14 lakh MVA today. Gas pipeline network has gone more than doubled. And this is of course data usage जो 1 GB भी नहीं था, आज 24 GB पर मंथ है एट एन इंडिविजुअल लेवल. पहले 28 करोड़ लोगों के पास वायरलेस कनेक्शन था, आज मोर देन 100 करोड़ पीपल है वायरलेस कनेक्शन. Similarly, on roads, road network has improved from 90,000 kilometer to approximately 1,50,000 kilometer. On the right hand side of the screen, I have also tried to highlight government projects which gives push to all these things. And consequently, these are areas where a lot of spending is happening. So I also have the data of where things are being spent and I will try and show it to you. बट इन शॉर्ट, रेलवेज में फॉर एग्जांपल पहले 4 किलोमीटर दिन का बनता था, तो आज 16 किलोमीटर दिन का बनता है. पीएम गति शक्ति प्रोजेक्ट है जहाँ पे इट इज फुल्ली एंड टू एंड envisaged दैट रोड, रेल, मल्टी मॉडल लॉजिस्टिक्स पार्क along with shipping lines should all collaborate with each other so that the logistics cost in India should come down significantly. Similarly, we are trying to, in fact, not trying to, we are almost now 100% electrified as far as Indian railways are concerned. Port capacities, just to give you an example how ports have changed themselves. So as per the national logistics policy and the Amrit Kal vision 2047 that the government has put, तो ये 47 में क्या होगा जाने दो, पर 26 में क्या हो गया वो हम देख रहे हैं. तो पहले जब एक शिप आता था तो उसका एवरेज टर्न अराउंड टाइम होता था 93 आवर्स. इस 93 आवर्स has already become 50 hours, though you can always argue and complain कि ग्लोबली पोर्ट्स का तो इससे भी कम है. तो वी आर मूविंग इन दैट डायरेक्शन. And of course, it takes its own sweet time. But are we working in that direction? Are efforts being made? So the answer is yes. So with this background, let me try and move ahead with a very comprehensive view on the overall infra sector. Uh, to change. Yeah. So what I've tried to do, एक minute. How do I remove this? ये रब करना पड़ेगा सब.
में इरेजर ऑप्शन आता है सागर, इरेजर ऑप्शन आता है, इसलिए ये मत कर, वो हाईलाइट वाला कर दे, वो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा.
Okay.
हाँ.
ओके. सो हाइलाइटर वाला ऑप्शन कहाँ पे है? जस्ट वन सेकेंड. ओके. सो आई थिंक मेरे मेरे माउस के पॉइंटर से मोस्टली मेरा काम हो जाना चाहिए. सो एनीवेज, I'm coming to my next slide. So as I told you, I can actually do industrial or infrastructure bucketing, as you can see on my screen. I hope all of you are on the second screen. I've changed my screen, right, where I'm showing railways, defense, power, roads and ports, water, and
यस
the.
यस, दिख रहा है, स्क्रीन दिख रहा है वो. हाँ.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. So, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to identify those areas where government focus will be higher, government spending will be higher, and as a consequence of that, these segments will benefit. So, I have one very interesting slide which you can see here. तो इंडिया एक साल में कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर कितना करता है? सो द लास्ट ईयर्स नंबर इज 10.96 लाख करोड़ और अप्रोक्सीमेटली 11 लाख करोड़। ठीक है, तो ये जो 11 लाख करोड़ है उसमें से हम लोगों ने FY 26 में रोड्स पे कितना खर्चा किया? तो 2,72,000 करोड़ का खर्चा किया। रेलवे पे कितना किया? तो 2,52,000 करोड़ का खर्चा किया। डिफेंस पे कितना किया? तो 1,86,000 करोड़ पे खर्चा किया। नाउ दीज एरियाज what budgetary allocations they have received for next year? So जो सर टॉप डाउन अप्रोच का बात कर रहे थे, दिस इज वेयर आई एम एग्जैक्टली मूविंग। तो रोड्स में वी हैव मेड हायर एलोकेशन ऑफ 8% फॉर नेक्स्ट ईयर। रेलवेज वी मेड 10.3% हायर एलोकेशन। डिफेंस वी मेड हायर एलोकेशंस टू द टून ऑफ 17.6%. So any digit or any number that is higher single digit or higher single digit or lower double digit or higher double digit, then it must warrant our attention. At the same time, we should also track major schemes where either central or state governments are spending, and those schemes are receiving a lot of higher allocation. For example, power sector में RDSS revamped distribution scheme, the allocations have been 15% higher. So these all amounts are in rupees crores. So 18,000 crores from 15,600 crores. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban 150% increase. Port shipping waterways 78% increase. Jal Jeevan Mission 300% increase. Space 20%. Nuclear power projects 87%. Semiconductor 4,300 crores has gone to 9,000 crores. Similarly, we can dig one level deeper कि डिफेंस में अगर 18% का बजटरी इंक्रीज है तो डिफेंस में कौन कौन से सेगमेंट में सबसे ज़्यादा हायर एलोकेशन आ रहा है, एंड यू कैन यू टारगेट दोज सेगमेंट्स, कैन यू फाइंड आउट दोज कंपनीज विच विल बेनिफिट आउट because of higher allocation spends in this sub segments, and consequently can I as a fund manager position myself into those segments because those companies will get maximum benefit and and this will translate into more business and higher P&L opportunity for the company. So that is what I have done for defense. That is what I have done for roads, and that is what I have done for railways also. Railway, for example, rolling stock means simple coach making budgetary allocation. So that is not very interesting. However, doubling of track lines is a very important opportunity. Building of new lines, very important opportunity. Signaling and telecom, good opportunity. Electrification projects, reasonably good opportunity. Metropolitan transportation projects means metro projects, very, very good opportunity. 22.5% allocation. So, anyways, I will try and explain you all these things in even more greater detail. So then what we do is we try to figure out that because of this top-down construct, which are the companies whose order inflows will be strong because of this, which will eventually translate into order backlogs, which are the companies who are actually aggressive on this side and improving their market share trends. Because of this, are they trying to improve their product mix? Is the competitive landscape very, very, what do you call, very, very tight? Then I might not be interested in that a company. But if a company is operating in a landscape where competitive intensity is moderate, then that is a segment which will be of huge interest to me. Of course, I will continue to monitor working capital of the business, and whatever business is coming must translate into operating cash flows with reasonable leverage, and those will be the companies that I will try and target. So I think if I have to look at large themes, large sectors with huge allocations, the first theme that I like as a fund manager is the Indian power value chain. So I've tried to explain here कि पावर वैल्यू चेन में क्या रहता है। तो पावर वैल्यू चेन को अगर मैं ब्रीफली डिस्क्राइब करूँ तो एक रहता है जनरेशन लैग, दूसरा रहता है ट्रांसमिशन लैग, और तीसरा रहता है डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन लैग। वी विल क्विकली डिस्कस ऑल द थ्री लेग्स। तो ये पहला लेग है जनरेशन लेग। तो जनरेशन लेग में हम लोग पावर जनरेट करते हैं थ्रू वेरियस सोर्सेज ऑफ पावर। इट कैन बी कोल, डीजल, लिग्नाइट, गैस, न्यूक्लियर, हाइड्रो, सोलर, विंड, so on and so forth. And now recently we have started installing battery also, because battery is an area where power can be stored and can be supplied during times power is not generated. तो हमारा FY 26 का क्या स्टेटस है एज ऑफ टुडे? सो दिस इज इंस्टॉल्ड कैपेसिटी ऑफ इंडिया इन गीगावाट्स। सो एज यू कैन सी ऑन माई स्क्रीन, हमारा पावर जनरेशन कैपेसिटी एज ऑफ टुडे 533 गीगावाट्स है। और हर सोर्स से कितना गीगावाट है इज व्हाट आई हैव ट्राइड टू हाईलाइट। अभी आप ये देखो कि हमने 10 साल में पावर कहाँ से बिल्ड किया, विच इज एट द राइट हैंड साइड ऑफ माई स्क्रीन। ठीक है, so as you can see, the highest power generation capacity that you have added is from the solar segment, which has grown at 36.4% CAGR over the last 10 years. And we are also going to build from FY27 to FY32, and from which source and how much is what I have tried to highlight here. Now, these are not my numbers, these are numbers from National Electricity Plan of India, which Ministry of Power publishes at regular periodical levels. And you will see, as you can see in the second last row of my screen, कि जो पावर जनरेशन कैपेसिटी है सबसे ज़्यादा भागा है तो वो रिन्यूएबल साइड पे भागा है. So why this has happened? As you can see over the last many years, uh, growth has been phenomenal. So what I'm trying to tell you is uh, that this is one area which where a lot of spending is happening, and it throws a lot of opportunity. I will also try and highlight the challenges with this segment, and then possibly after the end of the session, I'll be more than happy to take questions on the same. So, anyways, my next slide is a very connecting slide to this slide. So, this is a slide where I have just put power additions that have happened in the last many years. So if I go to this total addition row, which you can see, तो हमने FY26 में कितना पावर ऐड किया है? 58 गीगावाट्स ऑफ पावर हैव बीन एडेड इन FY26. उसमें से 51 गीगावाट हैज बीन एडेड ओनली वाया सोलर एंड विंड. सो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लेन यू इज कि हम जितना भी पावर ऐड कर रहे हैं उसमें से लगभग 85 से 90% पावर हम लोग सिर्फ दो जगह से ऐड कर रहे हैं, सोलर और विंड से. और उसमें भी अगर हम स्पेसिफिकली सोलर देखें तो ये 51 गीगावाट में से 45 गीगावाट सोलर से आया है. Now, what is the idea of doing this analysis? The idea of doing this analysis is this is a area because of which पावर हंग्री कंट्री का जो भी पावर रिलेटेड इश्यूज है वो रिजॉल्व हो गया है. जस्ट टू ट्राई एंड मेक माई पिक्चर लिटिल मोर क्लियर, अगर हम FY17 से अगर हम FY20 में 21 इसलिए नहीं ले रहा हूँ क्योंकि 21 वॉज अ कोविड ईयर, तो मैं देखूँ तो हम कितना पावर ऐड करते थे साल में. हम लोग पावर ऐड करते थे लगभग 10 गीगावाट के आजू बाजू. ठीक है, अगर मैं टोटल देखूँ तो 15 गीगावाट के आजू बाजू में ऐड करता था. वो 15 गीगावाट का आज मैं लगभग 60 गीगावाट, मतलब 3x 4x कैपेसिटी आई एम एडिंग एवरी ईयर, and this will continue for next many years. In fact, NEP says that we don't want power generation because इतना requirement भी नहीं है जितना जो रेट से हम लोग जनरेट कर रहे हैं. So India has done phenomenal job in this segment, and exactly my next slide is trying to show you this. So this is the world's largest under construction solar power park. How many of you know that this power park is being built in India, and this power park is being built in Gujarat at a place called as Khavda. So Khavda has the world's largest under construction renewable power park, where from a single location you will be generating 30 gigawatts of energy. So these are all the major solar under construction solar power parks across the world. And I've tried to put China में जो आ रहा है उसका 25 गीगावाट कैपेसिटी है, फिलीपींस में जो आ रहा है उसका तो 3.5 गीगावाट है, UAE में जो आ रहा है उसका 5 गीगावाट कैपेसिटी है. बट इंडिया इज बिल्डिंग अ 30 gigawatt single location power park, the size of which is 5 times the size of Paris. So there are very beautiful YouTube videos on this location and how India is trying to move mountains as far as solar power generation is concerned. People interested must watch those videos because it is a Herculean task to develop such large infrastructure projects. So, so, so a lot of work happening on this segment. A lot of companies are beneficiaries, and uh, we are playing certain companies in the power value chain. Okay, so moving to next. So now that I have explained you power generation, I'm moving to the next part, which is power transformation. So now what happens is a lot of large projects are being built, but the point is when power is generated, it needs to be transmitted because generation centers are different and consumption centers are different, and most of the times they may be separated by long distances. So then what do? You have to build a lot of transmission lines, and which is why as you can see transmission line का जो length in kilometer है, especially on the higher voltage side, there are some very strong numbers at which this has to be built, and which is why over the last 3 years you have seen companies operating in power transmission segment doing phenomenally well, especially companies who are building transformers, switch gears, converters, rectifiers, so on and so forth. So now why this has happened? Why this has happened is because there is some very large ordering that has happened in the HVDC segment. Now, what do you mean by HVDC? HVDC stands for high voltage direct current. So when power is to be transmitted to large distances, what happens is you generate power, you increase the voltage of that power to a certain level, you transmit it in direct current form at high voltage so that losses are minimal. It is very important that if you want power losses to be minimum, then you have to convert or you have to change the power to high voltage and then transmit it in what you call direct current form. Then you take it to the consumption center, you step down via transformer, convert from DC to AC, and then you use it at your home, industry, hotel, whatever, factory, whatever the place may be. So just to give you an example, there has been fantastic ordering of large projects whose value are in the range of 20 to 25,000 crores over the last 3 years. For example, as you can see on my slide, three large projects have been awarded in India over the last 3 years, ones which are highlighted in slightly light blue. Each of this project, two of the projects were valued at 25,000 crores. One project was valued at 18,000 crores. So there were number of companies who were participating in this value chain of the system. And actually, if you go and check order book of these companies, then they have ballooned. Just to give you a few specific examples, one of the market leaders in this space had an order book of 5,000 crores. Today, order book of that company is 30,000 crores. The second biggest player in this segment, order book was 4,500 crores. Today, very interesting numbers, actual numbers, factual numbers. The profit of one company was 160 crores in FY24. As we stand today in FY26, profit is 980 crores. Profit has gone 6x in 2 years. For the second company, profit was 182 crores. Profit has today become 1250 crores approximately. I mean, profit has gone 7x, six and a half times in 2 years' time. So why this has happened? Because huge ordering has happened and huge business opportunities open for these companies. Now, moving to next, government of India is reasonably clear that if you really want to change this nation's structure, power has to be available, and it has to be available for all, and it has to be available in plenty. And consequently, if you check NCT, that is National Commission on Transmission's plan, they have penned down not nine HVDC projects, but pen down 22 HVDC projects that should come over the next 15 years. So while my screen shows three have been awarded and the other six in pipeline, in total, after the next six, there are many more in pipeline, giving a long runway for growth for these companies. Okay, so this was on power transmission. Now let me move to power distribution very quickly. Where are we in terms of aggregate technical and commercial losses on the power distribution side? Power distribution मतलब power transmit हो जाने के बाद जो घर पे पावर आता है, so that high voltage power is then converted to low voltage power and given to you at 230 AC volts. So we are reasonably still a country where power theft is very high. And as you can see in my screen, Singapore, आप लोग जैसे देख रहे हो, Singapore is 0.3% loss in power and we are at 15.4%. Most of the developed economies are under 6 7, but we are still at 15.4. In fact, you can see on my screen even some countries which are less developed than us have power losses which are lesser than us. So anyways, we have to work in this direction, and in my next slide I am trying to highlight कि ये जो पावर वैल्यू चेन है उसमें सबसे ज़्यादा कम ऑटोमेशन, कम डिजिटाइजेशन कहाँ है? तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में सबसे कम ऑटोमेशन है, एंड गवर्नमेंट वांट्स टू वर्क इन दिस डायरेक्शन टू ऑटोमेट or to digitize this entire distribution infrastructure so that losses can come down. So as you can see on the first part of my screen, हम लोग losses में इससे भी ज़्यादा थे at a point in time in FY16. AT&C losses were 24%. Today they have come in the range of 15-16%, and we want to go even below that number. So a lot of work is likely to happen here, and this is a segment that I am as a fund manager targeting so that I can make hay when the sun shines. So this is the government's perspective on power distribution specifically. Reasonably clear that they want to spend around 6 lakh crores by FY30 and around 11 lakh crores by FY35. They want to increase substation capacity, transformation capacity, medium voltage capacity, so on and so forth. They want to build SCADA towns, that every tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3 city in India we'll have a fully automated system wherein power can be controlled from center. So if a area or if a segment is not paying, and if they are doing some kind of muscle show, their power can be cut from the centralized office, and they will have no other choice but to pay in case they want to consume power. So as you can see, growth is likely to be 8x in next 10 years. Similarly, smart meters, as most of you know, smart meter implementation is happening at a very fast pace. It is going 12x in next 10 years. Even if it goes to 5x or 6x in next 10 years, that's an area to be in. So mind you, when you are talking about companies in capital goods space or industrial space or infra space, there are certain companies that operate in power distribution that don't operate in power transmission, and vice versa. So there are clear demarcations. So basis which segment you are seeing traction, that is the area to play on. Uh, Next segment that I really like and I believe will continue to buzzle is the Indian defense sector. I think this is an area which a lot of people have been talking about from quite some time. We believe this segment will continue to do well. What I've tried to do is I've tried to accumulate top line of major companies, DPSUs plus private sector companies, and I'm seeing top lines growing in higher double digit and EBITDA also growing at higher double digits. I think a lot of reforms have happened in the system. And just to give you some context, मैंने अभी बताया at the start of the presentation, Indian central government budget spend total is close to 11 lakh crores on FY26 as on FY26. इसमें से डिफेंस का बजट है 1.86 लाख करोड़. मतलब मोटा मोटा 18 से 19% खर्चा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट डिफेंस पे करता है. As you know, execution wise, this government is slightly more aggressive, and consequently I think this is an area which will continue to see traction at least for the next 3 5 years. The only thing is TAM, or total addressable market size in defense, is now moving slightly away from DPSUs to private sector companies. And this is an area where problems are umpteen because valuations are very high. And unless we see a certain strong competitive advantage, which visibility in order book, we will not invest in the companies. However, on the DPSU side, I think most of the DPSUs are at all-time high order books. And we believe, at least for my PSU fund, I will continue to bet on these companies. Okay, next and very important area that we believe this government is planning to build is the Sagarmala program. So Sagarmala program government has fivefold objectives, as you can see on your screen. They want to build every port into a separate ecosystem or industrial ecosystem, and this should help in coastal community development. And government is very clear that apart from road and rail network, government wants to use coastal shipping as a way of travel and traveling people and traveling goods. Similarly, it wants to build a strong network of inland waterways. And for people interested, you can go to this website, which I've mentioned at the bottom left of my screen, sagarmala.government.in. And number of inland in fact, IWT segment, if I, it's a very small segment as of today, but it is growing at 15% CAGR from last 10 years. So interlinking of river and consequently making them available for transport, not only people but goods, and also coastal tourism is on the agenda of this government, and government has allocated money in these segments. Of course, it wants all the 12 major ports that the government of India owns into smart ports or world-class ports, and a lot of work is happening in that direction. So, what are the monetary allocations that have happened in this segment? So, in the Sagarmala program, a sum of 6 lakh crores is earmarked to be implemented by 2035. A lot of projects have already got completed, 262 projects at the cost of 1 lakh 40,000 crores. Similarly, 1.63 lakh crores of project are under implementation, and 2.75 lakh crores are under development. So I think this is one nascent area where companies are gearing up. Companies are now building smaller boats. They are building greener boats. They are doing dredging. They are providing a lot of services to ports. So I think this is one segment where we would like to bet. We are already betting via some prominent companies, and in times to come, if this sector gains traction, we will bet on more companies. So these are some over the last 9 years, which are some large projects that have got completed in this segment in the India maritime space. And of course, this has got some impact on the overall prosperity of the ports and the related ecosystem. Okay, I think India is also very, very focused on the semiconductor, uh, what do you call, building semiconductor capacities in India. As many of you know, the incentives available for semiconductor and for data center space are unmatched anywhere in India or for any other infrastructure segment. There is already this list of companies which is where projects have been freezed, approved, money allocated. So I've just tried to highlight which state, what type of factory they are putting, what capital expenditure, कितना खर्चा करेगा. So this is a खर्चा by private sector, not by public sector or central or state government. But these are large numbers. This is $19 billion, or if I have to roughly convert it into rupees, it is 1,80,000 crores. And what capacity they will come out with. So most of these companies present here, so few of them are listed, some are unlisted. But can I as a fund manager try and decode the entire value chain? ये सेमीकंडक्टर का फैक्ट्री कौन बनाएगा, इसमें ऑटोमेशन सोल्यूशन कौन देगा, इसमें इलेक्ट्रिकल इक्विपमेंट कौन सप्लाई करेगा, इसमें जो क्लीन रूम्स लगता है वो कौन बना के देगा, इसमें जो गैसेस लगता है वो कौन सा कंपनी बना सप्लाई करेगा. And can I figure out those companies so that I can play it for my portfolio and benefit the investors at large. So this is one area where government is also doing not only doing PLI, that is production linked incentive scheme. मतलब जितना भी आप माल बनाते हो उस पे तो इंसेंटिव मिलेगा, बट जितना भी आप केपेक्स करते हो वो भी, अगर जो दिन से आप प्रोडक्शन चालू कर दोगे उसके बाद यू विल ऑल्सो बी reimbursed for the capex that you do. So as many of you know, there are certain companies in the listed space who have announced 7,500 crores of capex for building a factory in semiconductor segment, and 75% of the capex is being subsidized by center plus state put together. So, so these are very, very emerging infra areas where you are getting a lot of government support so that such capabilities are built on ground in system. Okay, another major area that I am betting very strongly on is the Indian data center segment. So as you can see on the left hand side of my screen, as of CY 2025, 1.6 gigawatt of data center capacity is operational, and we want to increase it to 8 gigawatt. So effectively, if I see, I'm just taking or increasing my capacity by 6.5 gigawatt. I was trying to read some global report on data centers, and I could see that uh, developed nations have already some 65 gigawatt of operational capacity, and they are putting additional 65 gigawatt of operational capacity in next 5 years. India is only building 6.5 gigawatt in next 5 years. But the beautiful part about it is, because I have a low base, growth rates for me will look extraordinarily well. And the point is, these are what do you call, these are pockets where going back is not a choice really for a country like India. Why it is not a choice? Because see the amount of data that India is generating over the last 8 years, the amount of data that we have generated has gone up gigabyte nahi exabytes. It is 30x jump over the last 8 years. Similarly, RBI has mandated Indians' data should be stored in India. SEBI has mandated investor data should be stored in India. Government of India wants all the Indians' data should be stored in India. And for developed economies, all non-critical data can be stored in low-cost places like India. So this is a segment which is likely to show huge traction over the next many years. So what we've tried and do is we've tried and demap the entire data center into lot of pieces, and we've tried to see कि इसमें प्रोटेक्शन डिवाइसेस कौन सप्लाई करेगा, कैबिनेट कौन सप्लाई करेगा, बस बार कौन सप्लाई करेगा, कूलिंग इक्विपमेंट कौन सप्लाई करेगा, रैक्स कौन सप्लाई करेगा, केबल ओवरहेड केबल मैनेजमेंट कौन करके देगा, स्मार्ट पावर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन यूनिट्स कौन सप्लाई करेगा, and so on and so forth. And who are the market leaders, which are the companies that have got capability in that segment. So in fact I have a slide, but because this is a very public presentation I have not kept that slide deliberately. But otherwise we have mapped companies in every segment and tried to see that if this segment grows by not 4x, let's say 5x, but 4x, 3x over the next few years, then which are the companies which will benefit out of this. So what we've tried to do is अभी ये जो 1.6 gigawatt data center का जो capacity है, which are the players that have put this capacity and what is the amount of money they have spent in India to build this data center capacity. So we've put capex $1 million per megawatt, and we've just tried to loosely convert it into rupees per megawatt. So approximately we are getting that जो players ने on ground काम किया है उनको 40 करोड़ रुपया लगता है पर मेगावाट डालने के लिए. So if I have to deploy another 6 gigawatts of capacity in next 5 years, what is the amount of money that will be spent? So as you can do that simple math, and you will realize that you'll have to spend roughly 2 lakh crores of money to build that additional डेटा सेंटर्स इन इंडिया. तो डेटा सेंटर में किस किस लोगों ने कैपेसिटी अनाउंस किया है? तो रिलायंस ने किया, अमेजोन ने किया, अदानी ने किया है, गूगल ने किया है, सीफी ने किया है, एसटीटी ने किया है, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ने किया है, एंड सो मेनी अदर प्लेयर्स. एंड माइंड यू, वी जस्ट ट्राई टू डू एन एक्सरसाइज कि आज डेटा सेंटर अगर लगाना हो, सो बारिंग चाइना वे डेटा सेंटर कैन कम अप इन 2 years टाइम, देर इज नो अदर कंट्री वे डेटा सेंटर कैन कम अप इन लेस देन. सो इंडिया इज जस्ट नेक्स्ट टू चाइना. बाकी यूरोप में यू टेक टाइम 3x दैट ऑफ इंडिया, यूएस में यू टेक टाइम 3.5x that of India to build a data center capacity. So, so I think we are in a sweet spot, and if this theme picks up, then we have really good amount of money to be made here. Okay, the next opportunity that we are bullish on is the metro opportunity. Metro, today there is no city in India, as you can see at the bottom chart of my screen, where project metro project is not being considered. I have tried to put operational data, under construction data, and approved proposed data. As I told you, जो 1000 किलोमीटर approximately आज operational है, it will become 3000 kilometers in next 5 years, not even 5 years, 4 years. And I think I can break this opportunity into construction and design, equipment suppliers, land acquisition, डब्बा बनाने वाला company, signaling system, traction system, so on and so forth. So it's a total $60 billion opportunity to be played out. And I think I will figure out companies who supply coaches. I will figure out companies who supply traction systems. I will figure out companies who supply rectifiers, converters, braking systems, regenerative braking systems, cabling systems, track कौन supply करता है, construction कौन करके देगा, and so on and so forth. So I think in a nutshell, I think I've missed one slide here, and that slide is the Vande Bharat slide. In fact, I have that slide. Let me try and show it to you. So this is the slide I missed. So if I look at in general railways opportunity, so there is opportunity in making wagons, there is opportunity in making coaches. So wagons मतलब मालगाड़ी का डब्बा, coaches मतलब passenger का डब्बा. Then there is something called as Vande Bharat, as all of you know. Now we all know some 180 trains are operational and 400 are under construction. Eventually, the aim is to convert all trains in India into this standard of trains, Vande Bharat trains. By 2047, Indian Railways wants to roll out 4,500 trains. So I'm very sure this target may not be achieved. But even if you make 2,000 trains in next 15 years, opportunities for companies catering to this segment is 10-year, 15-year long. There is no reason to be bearish on these companies. Similarly, the cousin brother version Amrit Bharat trains are coming, and thousand of these are going to get rolled out. And I think the beautiful opportunity that is emerging is the bullet train project. So I'm very sure we all are aware there is a Mumbai Ahmedabad bullet train project coming. The project value of which is around 2 lakh crore of a single project. Now, if you actually check, जो मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग ऑफ दी स्लाइड्स में बताया कि एक साल का इंडिया का रेलवे बजट कितना है, तो एक साल का इंडिया का रेलवे बजट है एनीवेयर बिटवीन 2.5 to 2.7 lakh crores per annum. Now we are creating a single project worth 2 lakh crores, and I am sure most of you are very good readers. You all know that that an important patch of Mumbai Ahmedabad bullet train project will get ready in August 2027. As the project is progressing very well, and I mean when because I have seen infrastructure over the last 18 years, I know that when a project is envisaged, पहले हम लोग बोलते हैं 3 साल में आएगा, फिर सोचते सोचते 5 साल हो जाता है, और फिर 7 साल में या 10 साल में आता है. सो व्हेन बुलेट ट्रेन प्रोजेक्ट वाज एनविसाज्ड, इट वाज थॉट कि ये शायद 20 साल में आएगा तो भी बहुत बड़ी बात है, बट that has not been the reality. It has done better than expected. So I think with this Make in India program going strong, just to give you some additional information, दिस गवर्नमेंट इज रीजनेबली क्लियर कि जो भी उसका डब्बा बनाता है वो इंडिया में बनना चाहिए. जो डब्बे में लगने वाली चीज़ें हैं वो भी सब इंडिया के सप्लायर्स के पास से आनी चाहिए. जो टेक्नोलॉजीज है वो भी धीरे धीरे यू हैव टू इंडिजिनाइज एंड मेक इन इंडिया. So there are certain companies in India, without naming those companies, they have started making coach means coach of this bullet train project. So just to give you an example, there is one company which makes coaches for metro. आप कोई भी इंडिया के मेट्रो में ट्रैवल करो, वो कंपनी का आपको नाम दिख जाएगा. Now that company is making coach for the bullet train project also. One coach in metro project cost 9 crore rupees. One coach in bullet train project cost approximately 30 crore rupees. मतलब वो कंपनी के लिए सीधा अपॉर्चुनिटी 3x हो गया है, राइट. सिमिलरली एज आई टोल्ड यू, देर आर लॉट ऑफ अदर थिंग्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, उसके जितने भी स्टेशंस बन रहे हैं उसमें ऑटोमेशन का अपॉर्चुनिटी है, उसमें कंस्ट्रक्शन का अपॉर्चुनिटी है, उसमें हाई टेक डिवाइसेस डिप्लॉय करने का अपॉर्चुनिटी है. ऑल स्टेशन विल बी स्मार्ट सिटीज. सो कंपनीज दैट आर benefiting out of those areas. And this government is also reasonably clear. Okay, if a Mumbai Ahmedabad bullet train project goes very well, then there are seven more projects lined up, as you can see on the right and bottom side of my screen. Seven more projects are likely to come once this project is completed with this. And these are the allocations. No, these are not allocations. These are length in kilometer. But each project is going to be a high value project. So I think. So I think in my Invesco Infra Fund, these are the allocations that I have made versus the BSC Infra Index. So as I told you, I'm playing emerging infra in a big way. So my emerging infra allocation is 25% versus almost nil in the BSC Infra Index. Similarly, my allocations in the PSU fund also are on the defense side and on the energy transition side. So Invesco PSU fund is slightly overweight on defense, energy transition, maritime versus the regular BSC PSU allocation. So this has been the returns of my fund. So as you can see, Invesco Infrastructure Fund in near term has done very well at 17% CAGR for last 6 months. And even if you see slightly longer term performances, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 7 year, 10 year, 10 year is 17.96. And even if you look at returns from inception, so inception return has been close to 11%. Now this is a return of last 19 years, 18.66 years. You making 11% return for last 18, 19 years is, I don't think it's a very good, strong performance. Similarly, these are returns of PSU funds. Near-term returns have been tepid. 1 year return has been flat, negative. 2 year returns have been negative. But 3, 5, 7, 10 year returns have been reasonably good. For this fund also 16, 17%, 16, 17 years returns have been in the range of 11.5 to 12%. So this is reasonably good. This is my portfolio as on publicly available information, June 2026 fact sheet. These are the stocks that I own, and most of the stocks that I'm owning in my portfolio are aligned to the themes that I've already highlighted, explained, and mentioned. So if you have any doubts, queries, you can please fire at me. Yeah, I think I'm done. So on the last slide, it is the PSU portfolio, and then the standard disclaimer which I have to give.
So thank you very much, Sagar, for such a wonderful presentation. And as we have mentioned that ये नॉर्मल चीज नहीं है. आप देखो कि एक एफएमसीजी कंपनी की सेल्स होने वाली है, या फार्म या बैंकिंग कंपनी का जो टॉप लाइन बढ़ने वाला है, वो एक एक पूरा वेल स्टेब्लिश्ड वो
Mhm.
थीम है. तो उसके
Mhm.
अंदर ग्रोथ भी बहुत लिमिटेड रहती है. तो निफ्टी के अंदर जो लेगेसी कंपनियां हैं उनका
Mhm.
ग्रोथ का भी एक चैलेंज है. लेकिन
Mhm.
अगर आप इंफ्रा की तरफ देखो कि जहां एंड इंफ्रा खाली ये ब्रिज बनाना है, पोर्ट बनाना नहीं है. नाउ यू एयरपोर्ट्स, यू हैव रेलवेज, एंड द
Mhm.
काइंड ऑफ एक्साइटिंग थिंग्स हैपनिंग इन दीज फील्ड. एंड उस
Mhm.
पूरी वैल्यू चेन में कहाँ कहाँ फायदा होने वाला है, पावर जनरेशन में क्या फायदा होने वाला है, जीसीसी के अंदर क्या फायदा होने वाला है. और जैसा आपने देखा कि पिछले 10 साल का इस फंड का रिटर्न 18% के आसपास, जबकि निफ्टी
Mhm.
का रिटर्न 12% के आसपास, तो 6% का अल्फा है.
Mhm.
और
Yes,
वेरी वेल डाइवर्सिफाइड पोर्टफोलियो इस फंड का. तो मेरे
absolutely.
हिसाब से आपको इंडिया में ही इतनी एक्साइटिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल जाएगी. तो
Mhm.
इसको आपको देखना चाहिए. और ये थीम ऐसा नहीं कि ये 2-3 साल चलने वाली है. ये
Mhm.
थीम बहुत बड़ी चलने वाली, क्योंकि हमने, अगर आप 2004 से 2008 का इंफ्रा बूम देखो और अभी का इंफ्रा बूम देखो, तो उसमें दो बहुत बड़ा फर्क है.
Mhm.
उस टाइम कंपनीज का बैलेंस शीट इतना स्ट्रांग नहीं था, बैंक का बैलेंस शीट इतना स्ट्रांग नहीं था, वो बैंक से बोरो करके कर रहे थे. गवर्नमेंट की बैलेंस शीट इतनी स्ट्रांग नहीं थी. आज की तारीख में गवर्नमेंट की बैलेंस शीट बहुत स्ट्रांग है, कॉर्पोरेट बैलेंस शीट बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रांग है। तो अगर रेवेन्यू आएगी तो और उसके अंदर पैसा जाएगा। तो मेरे को लगता है कि ये आने वाले पीरियड के अंदर अगर आप देखो कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बड़ा बनेगा, तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के अंदर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कौन कंट्री पैदा कर सकती है? इंडिया, चाइना और यूएस ही बड़ी क्वांटिटी में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोड्यूस कर सकती है।
राइट।
जीसीसी के अंदर जो आपको मैन पावर चाहिए, जो पावर का रिक्वायरमेंट है, और काफी इंडस्ट्रीज ऐसी है कि जिसमें पोल्यूशन बहुत होता है,
हम्म।
तो वो छोटी कंट्री बना ही नहीं सकती है। तो बड़ी स्केल पे जो काम होने वाला, तो मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप जो हेडलाइन है, डेली हेडलाइन, उसमें
हम्म।
काफी नेगेटिविटी आती है, काफी एंग्जाइटी वो डिसिमिनेट करती है,
हम्म।
उसको छोड़ के आप देखो तो इंडिया में बहुत एक्साइटिंग चीजें हो रही है। तो मेरे हिसाब से दिस फंड इन माय ओपिनियन कुड बी अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग चॉइस, प्रोवाइडेड आपका ओवरऑल पोर्टफोलियो के अंदर ये फिट बैठता है। तो मेरे हिसाब से आप लोगों को इसको कंसिडर करना चाहिए। And we are open to question. Anybody have any question? Either they can post on the chat box or they can ask. We can open the forum for questions as well.
Yeah. So before, sir, the question answer round starts. So as you very rightly highlighted कि infrastructure companies में debt का issues रहता है, and which is why these companies have shown a very cyclical performance in last many years. So if you look at my portfolio, तो जैसे आपकी स्क्रीन पे है, मेरी जितनी भी टॉप होल्डिंग्स है ना, इनफैक्ट मेरा पूरा पोर्टफोलियो है ना, उसमें मोर देन 80% ऑफ द कंपनीज आर डेट फ्री कंपनीज। फॉर एग्जांपल हनीवेल इज अ डेट फ्री कंपनी, स्नाइडर इज अ डेट फ्री कंपनी, ग्रैनुअल इज अ डेट फ्री कंपनी, एल एन टी ऑन अ स्टैंड अलोन बेसिस इज अ डेट फ्री कंपनी। एल एन टी फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज जो एक बी एफ एस आई सेगमेंट में ऑपरेट करता है, इसके लिए वहाँ पे डेट है। बाकी जो इसका कोर इंजीनियरिंग ईपीसी बिजनेस में एज ऑफ टुडे ऑन अ स्टैंड अलोन बेसिस इट्स अ डेट फ्री कंपनी।
So
ABB
there's
is a
some
debt-free
question
company.
coming.
Hinter
One question is
Group,
that how better this fund
Glendale is a
than
debt-free
uh,
company.
Sagar. There are some
BDL,
questions
debt-free.
coming. So one
Yeah.
question. So can you take the question.
Yeah.
एक तो
Yeah.
पहले
So I'll
लोगों के
start
हाथ है
taking the
उन।
question. Acha.
So people are asking questions. So can you take questions from people, Sanika? Then we answer people who are coming in the chat box.
Sure. I have requested Aman Kumar to unmute.
Aman Kumar, please can you unmute yourself and ask the question? Yeah, please go ahead. Aman, you can unmute yourself, Aman Kumar. First, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, he's unmuted.
Please ask your question. Okay, meanwhile, just ask other person, if Aman is. Aman,
Hello,
can
sir.
you?
Am I
Yeah,
audible?
yeah, yeah.
Yes, you are audible.
Sir, this side Irfan, not Aman. Thank you for giving me opportunity. सर ये सागर सर के लिए क्वेश्चन है। मैं ये बोला था सर, तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की जो कंपनियां होती है वो काफी कैपिटल इंटेंसिव कंपनीज होती है। लाइक मैं एक डिस्क्लेमर है, मैं आल्सो आई एम वर्किंग एज ए मेटल माइनिंग कंपनी। तो सर इसमें नंबर्स तो बहुत बड़े बड़े दिखते हैं, लाख करोड़ एंड थाउजेंड करोड़ से बिलियंस में, बट जो उनकी ग्रोथ रहती है सर वो 2-3% ही एक्चुअल टर्म्स में रहती है। तो सर ये चीजें अपने को 1-2 साल के बाद में जाके इम्पेक्ट करती है क्या सर?
बहुत अच्छा
नहीं, you are right.
क्वेश्चन,
So
वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन, रियली।
yeah, so you're absolutely
इरफान।
right. So these are very high capital intensive companies. So see, these are honestly, as सर ने समझाया था कि थोड़ा difficult companies to understand रहता है। तो from a fund manager lens मैं कौन सी कंपनी को लेता हूँ जो कंपनी जिसमें बहुत ही ज़्यादा कैपिटल गजलिंग है या बहुत ही ज़्यादा केपेक्स करना पड़ता है टॉप लाइन लाने के लिए, रेवेन्यू लाने के लिए। तो वो कंपनी इंफ्रा कंपनी है, वो ग्रो करेगा बट वो शेयर होल्डर को रिटर्न बना के नहीं देता है। तो वो कंपनी बड़े नंबर देख के शायद एक क्या बोलते हैं नोवाइस इन्वेस्टर उसको मान लेगा, बट फॉर पीपल हु स्पेंड अ गुड अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम इन द इंडस्ट्री, they will not get carried away by all this. So just to give you an analogy, there is a large group in India that is doing large capex every year. उसका लास्ट ईयर का एक्चुअल नंबर है 1.5 लाख करोड़ ऑफ capex done by a single group, doing huge amount of investment, generating huge amount of top line. But I have not invested a single share in the taken a single stock of that company in my portfolio, despite the stock price doing well. Why? Because I know the risk. I know when things will change or when things will turn around. it can really lead to very bad losses in my portfolio. So I will not be carried away by huge top line numbers. Consequently, where you are highly capital intensive, I will not be playing. In fact, you will see my portfolio. I have not bought a single company where working capital cycle is more than 130 days. So not only capital expenditure, जहाँ working capital cycle भी बहुत लंबा होगा ना, वो कंपनियों से मैं दूर रहूंगा. मैं किसको खेल रहा हूँ पता है? अगर ठीक से मेरा पोर्टफोलियो देखो तो ये जो कंपनी बड़ा केपेक्स एग्जीक्यूट कर रहा है ना, उसको सप्लायर कौन है? जो अपना माल दे के निकल जाएगा, और वो भी वही माल लेने वाले को देने वाले को मैं खरीद रहा हूँ, जहाँ पे कॉम्पिटिटिव लैंडस्केप बहुत ज्यादा कॉम्पिटिटिव ना हो. नहीं तो क्या है, अगर टेंडर के बेसिस पे मुझे मेरा काम करना पड़े ना, तो मेरा जिंदगी में प्राइसिंग पावर बनेगा ही नहीं.
और आप एक बात और देखिए कि जैसे इन्वेस्को का बीएफएसआई फंड था, and as you know that right now HDFC Bank is around 20% weightage in BFSI fund. But few years back, HDFC Bank's weightage was even higher, around 30%. But Invesco ran that fund without taking a single rupee exposure to HDFC Bank for some time. It required lots of conviction guts. Means your weightage in the index of a stock is around 30%, and your fund is running with zero exposure. And that is the reason that the fund did exceedingly well. So even if you look at right now, if you look at, for instance, Nifty TRI, Infraca, and see the performance of this fund, I think this will answer the question in a way.
दूसरा दूसरा एकदम सेम एनालॉजी में देता हूँ. L&T का वेट एज ऑफ टुडे 10% है, 10 से भी ज्यादा है इन द इंडेक्स. आई एम रनिंग एट 4%. दैट इज द लार्जेस्ट कंपनी इन इंफ्रा स्पेस. 7.4 लाख करोड़ का ऑर्डर बुक है. नो, देर इज नो सेकंड थर्ड प्लेयर. L&T के बाद सीधा सब एकदम नीचे है. सीधा HAL आता है जिसका 2,20,000 करोड़ का ऑर्डर बुक है. पर मैं नहीं खेलूंगा, मतलब मैं उसको खेलूंगा बट वो वेट से नहीं खेलूंगा, अंडर वेट खेलूंगा.
ठीक बात, ठीक बात.
यस यस
Some people are raising their hands. So
यस.
Yeah. I've asked Mr. Lakshman Swamy to unmute also. Yeah. Yeah, so please ask your question. Mr. Dhyaneshwar also have unmuted.
Hello, am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, you are audible.
Thank you, Vijay sir. Thank you, Sagar, for conducting this session. Thank you very much. I just wanted to know that I think I'm from that space. That is why I got this query. How well this GCC part has covered the AI and cybersecurity in the space? Because you also showed that RBI's mandates that DPDP, even METI's other acts as well you have shown. So how it well captured in this fund? I just wanted to know.
No, see, at this point in time, see, from my lens now, I see pockets where a lot of money is being spent. अभी GCCs में जो पैसा खर्चा हो रहा है ना, उसमें predominantly buildings बन रहा है, and you are trying to do what you call KPO type of a work, wherein the quality of work is slightly better. Than क्या है कि some capabilities or capabilities are not created on ground. मतलब it is more of a building structure that is being created. Uh, तो from my lens, what is rather more important is कि Hitachi Energy India Limited, is it setting up a center to cater to all the HVDCs in India? मतलब is he becoming the what you call global feeder factory for the world, rather than becoming the human resource feeder factory for the world? तो फ्रॉम माई सी, मैं कैसे देखता हूँ, मैं आपको समझाता हूँ. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट 11 लाख करोड़ का खर्चा करता है. अभी मैं ये देखता हूँ कि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कितना करता है. तो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट लगभग 9 से 10 लाख करोड़ का खर्चा करता है. कॉर्पोरेट इंडिया, जो मेजर कॉर्पोरेट्स ऑफ इंडिया है, कितना खर्चा करता है? तो अराउंड 5.5 से 6 लाख करोड़ का खर्चा करते हैं. तो ये 25-26 लाख करोड़ में सबसे ज्यादा मलाई कहाँ पे है? उसमें जीसीसी अभी तक फिगर नहीं करता है. अभी थोड़ा टाइम है फ्रॉम अ टॉप डाउन पर्सपेक्टिव.
Uh, yeah.
या
In the meantime, I'll ask a few questions from the chat box as well.
या
A lot of tier 2 infra like airports and metros are currently having no traffic. So just trying to understand if the capex has been misallotted as there seems to be no revenue generating from them.
Okay, so very good question. So normally it so happens that initially when projects are envisaged, they are unsuccessful for a limited period of time. But as you will see in time that मैंने जो जैसे स्टार्टिंग में डेटा बताया कि पहले 6 करोड़ लोग ट्रैवल कर रहे थे, टुडे दैट नंबर इज क्लोज टू 3x दैट नंबर इन लास्ट 10 years. सो इवेंचुअली ऑल दिस प्रोजेक्ट्स विल गेट यूटिलाइज्ड. अगर 100 प्रोजेक्ट आए हैं इंफ्रा के, उसमें से ऐसा हो सकता है कि 5 7 10% प्रोजेक्ट्स लास्ट में फेल भी जाए. But in a country like India, you can't do all meticulous planning. So that will happen for a few projects. But again, as I told you, from a infra fund manager lens, I am not buying developers. I am buying suppliers. So I'm not buying people who will excavate gold from gold mine. I'm buying people who are selling shovels to that gold mines. जिसको अपना पैसा मिल जाएगा वो निकल जाएगा.
Got it.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of few questions on how
Hmm.
it is different from small cap fund and infra fund. So a lot of doubts on those aspects also.
No, so small cap fund tries to buy companies with smaller market caps. They are actually present at the lower end of the value chain. But if you look at infra companies, especially the companies that you looked in my portfolio, they are companies at the most highest end of the value chain. The quality of electrical equipment that they are supplying, that only three players in the world can supply. The quality of traction systems that ABB supplies to Indian metros and to Vande Bharat trains.
And
It's
Sagar, also the
only in the
legacy,
world to.
because in a small cap you can have companies which are like 5 6 year old, 10 year, but in infra most of the companies will have decadal old, right?
Yes,
Yeah. So the
absolutely
quality
right.
of they have it
So
because
small cap has, if you have to ask me, so if you have
yeah,
to ask
please,
me, small cap has a higher risk profile as compared to an infrastructure fund. An infrastructure fund, if constructed in a certain way, then the risk profile is definitely far lesser. It is far less riskier than a small cap fund. Yeah.
Got it, sir. All the key allocations in the infra fund are priced for perfection as they are currently trading at high valuations. So the
Mhm.
returns can only be driven by earnings growth from year on. The PE reiterating is unlikely. So what are the odds of high earnings growth to sustain the premium valuation?
Yeah, so you are absolutely right. Certain companies are priced to perfection, but the point is the longevity of growth. So, a company which was looking very expensive 2 years ago when the profit was 180 crores, now with profits at 988 crores in this year after 2 years, the entire lens change. So while you are right, because you are looking at the current price to earnings, but let 2 years pass, all these companies on an earnings basis only will start looking again very reasonable, and then will they will again get re-rated. So that is the area that I will where I will again make money. So near-term returns have been very strong for me only because this re-rating has happened for me. Otherwise, my near-term returns can never be so strong. So so that's the answer. And see what happens is you have to understand markets are very smart. Companies which are playing in near monopoly areas, they will always be expensive. I can give you specific names of companies. If you check history of these companies from 1990, they have always been expensive. Even during 2008 times or Lehman Brothers crisis, still they were quoting at 45 50p when other stocks had come to 5p, 6p, 8p. So if you want to buy quality, if you want to be with the best names, you must, as a fund manager, I have learned this the hard way. Then I must learn to pay a good price for it and then wait for earnings to come. Yeah. Thank you.
Got it. Sir, how material is the 2029 political risk to this theme and how can we mitigate this if at all?
Yes, so it is a material risk. Let me be very clear on this. It is a material risk. But see, one thing I'm very clear. What happens if a new government comes? India cannot go behind. Infrastructure projects will continue. The only thing is name will change, schemes will change, branding will change. But you have to continue building roads, railways, semiconductor, data centers. There is no way out. You have to align towards the global themes. You have to come out with better transmission systems. You have to cut T&D losses in distribution. You have to build green hydrogen centers. There is no way out. The only thing is all names of the schemes will change. It
Got
will
it.
be aligned to new government. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
This is Lakshman from Chennai.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Sagar Gandhi ji. You have got a great wisdom and knowledge, and I am very much convinced about your stock selection. Actually, I am really convinced to invest more deployment. Actually, based on your word. This is the first time I am attending your this thing.
Yeah.
Actually, Vijay Mantri sir is also a fund manager, sir.
No, sir, I was not that
Okay,
lucky in my life.
your voice is very crystal clear and very high tone to convince. Very much impressed. One more clarification:
Yes,
whether
sir.
this Invesco has been brought from any other fund or when it has got launched. Sorry, due to ignorance, I am asking.
So
And
Invesco is in existence for many years. Earlier, it was a Lotus Asset Management company, which was got taken over by Religare, and then Religare got taken over by Invesco of USA. It is a large fund house internationally, and recently, the IndusInd Bank Group took a stake in the company. But it is a separately run company managed by a team led by Saurabh Nanavati. And it is one of the most successful asset management company in India, managing, I believe, close to 1,50,000 crore of AUM, and does have outstanding investment performance over the last 1, 3, 5, 10 years, and blessed with some outstanding fund manager. On the equity side, you have Tahir Basha, who is with the firm for many, many years. And pretty recently, Amit Gujarati, who just was Amit, not Gujarati, Amit
Ganatra.
Ganatra, who was with the fund. Till recently, he's left and joined HDFC Mutual Fund. But beyond that, they have lots of fund managers. Sagar is one of them. Hitesh is one of Hiren is one of the other fund managers. They have battery of fund manager and analysts with minimum of 5, 7 year experience. So it's a pretty good team, and I'm tracking them continuously for last 8, 10 years.
great, sir. Great to have such a team. Actually, based on your speech, Mr. Sagar Gandhi has a very good clarity on picking up the stocks, sir. And your Mr. Vijay Mantri, your crystal clear focus on your fund house is very much happy. Actually, whether Sagar Gandhi sir is managing any fund?
Yeah, so sir, I'm managing two funds, Invesco Infrastructure Fund, Invesco India Infrastructure Fund, and second is Invesco India PSU Fund. In addition to this, all stocks that go from the infra basket or the industrials basket into any of the fund of Invesco, that goes through my lens because I am the senior analyst for capital goods, infra, utilities, and what do you call this space. So infra and
Crystal
industrials, I am the
crystal
lead for
clear
that.
knowledge, sir.
Yeah.
Crystal clear knowledge for to both of you. Very
Thank you.
happy. I am very much convinced. I am ready to deploy money in both the funds managed by you
Thank
to
you
a
so
large
much.
extent. Thank you, sir.
Please
We'll do
consult please consult your financial intermediaries. Please look at your asset allocation. Please look at your own risk profiling. And before you invest, look at volatility risk. So yeah, but I keep saying that before you look at the return, also look at the risk which comes with that. So keep that in mind and then take your call, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, could you please throw some highlights on your small cap fund, sir? Please.
I think he's not the right person to talk about it. I think we will, when we have a small cap fund manager, let them speak. Is that right, Sagar?
Yeah, that is correct. I mean, if you have some higher level questions, I can answer. But if you want some granular detailing, then I may not be the best person because I don't manage that fund. So see, we have a team of 6 research analysts with minimum 7 years experience. Then we are 5 of us who are senior research analysts with fund management responsibilities. We are with minimum 16, 17 years of work experience. Then there are 3 senior fund managers with 18 to 20 years of work experience, headed by Tahir Badshah, who is the CIO, with 27, 28 years of work experience. Yeah.
Okay. Any other question in the chat box,
Yes,
Sanika?
I'll just take it. So typically, what is the average holding period for your top allocations? Reason being these are cynical in nature. So wanted to understand how do you think about cycles while constructing your infra portfolio?
Yeah, so if you look at my current top five or top six holdings, these are holdings which I will continue to have irrespective of markets turning. Because as you can see, over the last 15 years infra cycle, there are certain stocks who enjoy a certain kind of moat. So this mode does not change. Does not change with every turn in the market. So my holding period for these stocks will be a reasonably long period of time. That specifically means more than at least 3 years.
Got
But in reality, it will be more than that. Mm.
understood.
Mm.
Uh, Few more questions. Hasn't the infra story already played out in our equity market since 2021, as it has comfortably beaten the broader market? So, what other growth levers did the market not price in yet on infra players for us to consider the infra theme to enter now?
So see what happens is certain themes have played out as you have rightly figured out. For example, in the power value chain, generation has played out, transmission has played out, but distribution is yet to play, data center is yet to play, semiconductor is yet to play, maritime is yet to play. So within the infra is a very, very large basket. As a fund manager, it is my job and responsibility to maneuver between these segments and try to reposition my fund in a segment where there is higher traction. So leave that job to me, but it's a large pool, and believe me, the story is not yet over because you are a large country with favorable demographics. There is no other choice available with this government or any other government not to spend on infra and not move ahead.
Understood.
Yeah.
And what is the expected return we can anticipate in this infra fund in the next 1 year due to the current geopolitical situations?
Listen, nobody can answer this question, and a fund manager should be the last person to answer this question.
No.
They take a call on the basis of where they see value in a company, and they we believe that if the company is available at much lesser value than the fair value of the company, they buy. And when the company become overpriced, they sell. So one of the way to look at is that if you are looking at theme rather than a broad-based index, then you could look at 2-3% more return than the broader theme, but also with a higher volatility. So you have to take a call, and the fund manager job is to identify a stock. Whether the stock become 20x or become 20% negative, nobody knows.
Understood. So I'll just take the last question also now. In infra, there is one issue that Indians usually are not willing to sell land required for construction of infrastructure, as
Mm.
they see the asset that will grow in price in future. Plus, the government has been notorious for struggling to passing the paperwork, as seen in many road infrastructure cases in Maharashtra, for example. So, because of these complexities, how can this affect the stock in the funds?
No, so absolutely. So these are all real ground level challenges that you highlighted, and this is a problem while developing power generation projects, power transmission projects, while creating land banks for data centers, while building factories in general, for building manufacturing facilities whenever. So I think government has see these are all of course on ground challenges. So government has been reasonably successful in doing this, but just for specifically for road. Now, if you see we have changed the NHA has changed the entire construct. Unless and until 98% of the land is clear, no awarding will happen. So, initially, what problems used to happen that after 60% land was demarcated or taken for this, project used to get awarded and then execution was a problem. So, what has happened is because of all this feedback, the way ordering has happened has also changed. So, there is a very beautiful website wherein you can exactly see how much land is acquired for every project. It's a government website, and then you will also be able to see whether compensation has gone to the end person who has sold the land to the government. So, as a fund manager, I try and refer all these government data sources, and I try and put money in only
Hello?
those companies. Hello, am I
हाँ,
audible?
आता है ना?
Hello. So, as a fund manager, I try and
फिर बाद
monitor
में
all these
वो
things. Yeah.
Tanika, you mute yourself. Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, so as a fund manager, I'm cognizant about these problems, and I try and invest into only those companies whose order book is filled with those orders where land acquisition is complete. So I think there is a attempt by the government also in this direction. And because we have been in the game from some time in this segment, we are aware of the challenges. So where land acquisition is not complete, we don't give value to that project or that order in the order book. So we will manage that risk. Yeah.
Uh, got it, sir. Sir, I think I just take the last question.
Sure.
Can we say infra fund is government debt fund?
No, 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 no.
No way, no way.
No, no, no.
No
See,
way.
government spends on an annual basis, government spends close to 51 lakh crore every year. तो गवर्नमेंट का जो 51 लाख करोड़ का खर्चा है उसमें से जो 11 लाख करोड़ का खर्चा है जो इंफ्रा बनाने में जाता है, और इंफ्रा बनाने के लिए जो खर्चा होता है उसमें कंपनियों को फायदा, जो कंपनियों को फायदा होता है वो कंपनियां लेना मेरा काम है, मेरा उसका फंड है, मेरा गवर्नमेंट डेट फंड नहीं है।
Got it. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
For everyone who's still in the meeting, I have also shared our email ID. If you all have any other queries, you all can reach out to us at the given email ID.
Yeah. Thank you so much and pleasure having all of you here, and thank you for participating.
Thank you everybody for logging in and appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sagar.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Vijay. Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you.